YouTube land. How's everybody doing? This will be part 2 of Burger King religion. So I'm going to pick up from part 1. Calling the Father Yahweh is meaningless to Christians. They say we can use whatever name we want to. He knows who we're talking to. You can't be saved without calling on the name of Yahweh. Joel 2:32 says, "And it shall be that everyone who calls on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. For on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be an escape, as Yahweh has said, and among the survivors whom Yahweh calls." Zechariah 13:9. "And I shall bring the third into fire, and refine them as silver is refined, and try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I shall answer them. I shall say, This is my people, while they say, Yahweh is my Elohim." Yahweh is very serious about his name. This verse in Zechariah contradicts the belief that it doesn't matter what we call him, he knows who we're talking to. It says, "They shall call on my name, and I shall answer them." Praise Yahweh for him revealing his name to us in these last days, and blessing us with the opportunity to call on his name. We all have a unique name, and we get irritated when someone continually calls us by the wrong name. How furious do you think the creator of heaven and earth gets when believers replace his name with the names of pagan deities, pagan idols? Just like the Father's name is not God, Lord, or Jehovah, the Son's name is not Jesus. The Messiah was born to Jewish parents. The native language for Jews is Hebrew, not Latin or Greek. The name Jesus is a hybrid concoction of Latin and Greek, two different languages. Another easy way to disprove the name Jesus is to look at a King James 1611 version. In not a single scripture does the letter J appear. Instead of J-E-S-U-S, it appears as I-E-S-U-S. The J is a fancy I. So how could the Messiah have anything but a Hebrew name? He was a Jew. He was from the tribe of Judah. John 5:43. "I have come in my Father's name, and you do not receive me. If another comes in his own name, him you would receive." What name makes more sense with this verse, with the Heavenly Father's name being Yahweh? Yahshua, not Jesus. The name Jesus doesn't make any sense in the context of this verse. In the past, I've drove by a church with the sign out front that says the following, quote, "The 10 Commandments are not multiple choice," end quote. Whoever put that sign up has no idea how right they are. You can't pick and choose what parts of Scripture you observe, especially Torah, on what you want to do, and then throw the rest out. But do Christians keep the 10 Commandments? Let's take a look in Exodus 20. I'm going to read 1 through 7. Verse 1. "And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahweh your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of slavery. You have no other mighty ones against my face." Christians break this commandment with their worship of Baal and other mighty ones, and a lot of times unwillingly, and unknowingly. There are the exceptions, people that have been revealed the truth but still choose to worship these mighty ones when they know better. I think they'll face a harder judgment than people that don't know no better, and they're just trying to do their best to serve the Creator with what knowledge they do have. Verse 4. "You do not make for yourself a carved image, or any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth." Christians break this command with symbols like crosses, Christmas trees, steeples, wreaths, and fish symbols. Again, a lot of them unknowingly, they're doing their best with what knowledge they do have. But the fact is that those are pagan idols, pagan symbols. Verse 5. "You do not bow down to them nor serve them. For I, Yahweh your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the crookedness of the fathers on the children to the 3rd and 4th generations of those who hate me, but showing kindness to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Yahweh your Elohim to naught, for Yahweh does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to naught." For anybody that's flipping through while they're reading this, hold your finger in Exodus 20. They don't keep the name of Yahweh set apart, as I mentioned before. God and Lord are names of pagan deities, pagan idols. There are some Christians that know his name but choose not to use it and use God and Lord instead. I personally know someone like this. Is that really a person with the heart to serve Yahweh? Isaiah 42:8 says, I am Yahweh, that is my name, and my esteem I do not give to another, nor my praise to idols. Yahweh is very serious about his name. Back to Exodus 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to set it apart. 6 days you labor and shall do all your work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh your Elohim. You do not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. Yahweh takes Sabbath so serious, even your animals and your servants are to rest on Sabbath, not just you or your family. Verse 11, For in 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day. Therefore Yahweh blessed the 7th day and set it apart. Most Christians don't honor this command either. There are a few exceptions like the 7th-day Adventist or the 7th-day Baptist. Yahweh's Sabbath is very important. Amen. Hold your fingers in Exodus 20 again. We're going to flip to Exodus 31, so not far. Going to read 13 through 17. More scriptures about the Sabbath and how important it is to Yahweh. Verse 13. And you speak to the children of Israel, saying, My Sabbaths you are to guard by all means. For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations to know that I, Yahweh, am setting you apart. And you shall guard the Sabbath, for it is set apart to you. Everyone who profanes it shall certainly be put to death. For anyone who does work on it, that being shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days' work is done, and on the 7th day, 7th is a Sabbath of rest, set apart to Yahweh. Everyone doing work on the Sabbath day shall certainly be put to death. And the children of Israel shall guard the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations as an everlasting covenant. Between me and the children of Israel is a sign forever, not for a short period of time or temporarily, forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. Yahweh is very serious about his Sabbaths. They are assigned between him and his people for how long? Forever. If you don't have the sign, how can you say you are his people? Let me say that again. If you don't have the sign, aka Sabbath, how can you say you are his people? Back to Exodus 20, verse 12. Respect your father and your mother, so that your days are prolonged upon the soil which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder, you do not commit adultery, you do not steal, you do not bear false witness against your neighbor, you do not covet your neighbor's house, you do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant. Although Christians don't do very well with the first 4 commands involving their relationship with Yahweh, they are excellent with the other 6 commands involving the interactions between themselves and other humans. There are a number of Christians that devote their lives to the service of others. Mission trips overseas is a great example. Serving others is important, but if being obedient to Yahweh is not part of the picture, there's something missing. So what does the word Christian mean? According to dictionary.com, 1. Of pertaining to or derived from, I'm going to quote exactly what it says, from Jesus Christ or his teachings, a Christian faith. Number 2. Pertaining to, believing in, or belonging to the religion based on the teachings of Jesus Christ. The teachings. So Christianity is based on the teachings of the Messiah. Do Christians follow Yeshua's example and his teachings? Yeshua was born in a Torah-observant family. He was raised in Torah. He kept the Torah perfectly all his life. Luke 2:21 through 24. And when 8 days were completed for him to be circumcised, his name was called Yeshua, the name given by the messenger before he was conceived in the womb. And when the days of her cleansing, according to the Torah of Moshe, were completed, they brought him to Jerusalem to present him to Yahweh, as it has been written in the Torah of Yahweh. Every male who opens the womb shall be called set apart to Yahweh, and to give an offering according to what is said in the Torah of Yahweh, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. Yeshua's parents were fulfilling the command in Leviticus 12:1-8. There are plenty of examples of Yeshua honoring and teaching Torah as an adult. Yeshua honored the Sabbath. Luke 4:16. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up. And according to his practice, he went into the congregation on the Sabbath day and stood up to read. Other examples of Yeshua's Sabbath observance are in Matthew 12:9, Mark 1:21, Mark 6:2, Luke 4:31, Luke 6:6, Luke 13:10, Luke 14:1, John 1:5, 1-16, John 9. Yeshua also honored the feast of Yahweh, Passover being one example. Luke 22:7-16. And the day of unleavened bread came when the Passover had to be slaughtered. And he sent Kepha and Yohanan, saying, Go and prepare the Passover for us to eat. And they said to him, Where do you wish us to prepare? And he said to them, See, as you enter into the city, a man shall meet you carrying a jar of water. Follow him into the house he enters. And you shall say to the master of the house, The teacher says to you, Where's the guest room where I might eat the Passover with my taught ones? And he shall show you a large, furnished upper room, prepare it there. And going, they found it as he had said to them, and they prepared the Passover. And when the hour had come, he sat down, and the 12 emissaries with him. And he said to them, With desire I have desired to eat this Passover with you before my suffering. For I say to you, I shall certainly not eat of it again until it is fulfilled in the reign of Elohim. He also honored Passover, or Pesach, in Matthew 26, Mark 14, and John 2. Yeshua would have tzitzit according to the command in Numbers 15:38-41. Matthew 14:35-35. And when the men of that place recognized him, they sent out in all the surrounding country and brought to him all who were sick, and begged him to let them only touch the tzitzit of his garment. And as many as touched it were completely healed. Not only did Yeshua honor Torah perfectly, he also taught Torah. Luke 17:12-14. And as he was entering into a certain village, he was met by 10 leprous men who stood at a distance. And they lifted up their voices, saying, Yeshua, Master, have compassion on us. And having seen them, he said to them, Go show yourselves to the priests. And it came to be that as they were going, they were cleansed. The Levitical priesthood was still in place during Yeshua's time when he was alive. Yeshua told the leprous men to go see the priest to honor the commands about leprosy according to Leviticus 13 and 14. If he'd have said anything else to them, he would have been teaching against Torah. Matthew 4:2-11. And after having fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. And the trier came and said to him, If you are the Son of Elohim, command that these stones become bread. But he answering said, It has been written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of Yahweh. Then the devil took him up into the set-apart city, set him on the edge of the set-apart place, and said to him, If you are the Son of Elohim, throw yourself down, for it has been written, He shall command his messengers concerning you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, so that you do not dash your foot against a stone. Yeshua said to him, It has also been written, You shall not try Yahweh your Elohim. Again the devil took him up on a very high mountain, and showed him all the reigns of the world and their esteem, and said to him, All these I shall give you if you fall down and worship me. Then Yahshua said to him, Go, Satan, for it has been written, You shall worship Yahweh your Elohim, and him alone you shall serve. Then the devil left him, and see, messengers came and attended to him to combat Hashatan's, or the devil's, attack. What did Yahshua do? He quoted the Torah, the everlasting word of Yahweh. In verse 4, Yahshua is quoting Deuteronomy 8:3. And in verse 7, he quotes Deuteronomy 6:16. Matthew 19:16 through 19. And see, one came and said to him, Good teacher, what good shall I do to have everlasting life? This guy is asking what to do to have everlasting life. What is the Messiah's response to that? And he said to him, Why do you call me good? No one is good except one, Elohim. But if you wish to enter into life, guard the commands. He said to him, Which? And Yahshua said, You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness. Respect your father and your mother, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. The young man asked Yahshua how to obtain everlasting life. What did Yahshua do? He told the young man to honor Torah. Yahshua never broke or taught against the Torah. Shalom.